good, so show us around.
All right, yeah, we'll go right to it. This is my PEZ room. A couple years ago, my wife had all these cabinets custom made for me just to keep the dust off of them. One of my favorite things to collect are the trucks and the cars and all the other vehicles. I only like to collect them if they say PEZ on them. You can get some of the smaller trucks and all and race cars that don't have the word PEZ on them that are made by the same manufacturer, but I only like the ones that actually say PEZ on them. So I keep a lot of my trucks in these racks. I also do some of the eyeglass, different materials. The soccer ball there was made by my father-in-law. It dispenses boxes of like junior mints. This is some of my special items I keep up on the top of the shelves. Inside of them are, these are mostly your commons or some of the easier ones to get. Down here I have my phone straps and keychains, mostly from Japan. The minis are all underneath of that. And I have one or two other cases here. I have some of my special items in here. I have one of the Monopoly games in there. It was a prototype. Some of the dies, pens. And again, these are all some of the newer ones. I also collect, I'm not sure if you can see in the back there, the Japanese gum dispensers, and also down here the clicks and kabayas and just about anything that dispenses candy. Moving over to the other one, my dad just made me a bunch of new racks, so I was able to get my Pop PEZ finally all displayed. Have those along with my holidays. Some of the minis down there. And also I like the die cut pumpkins. And then going over to the bottom, I have some of the TV pals and totems. I have a small collection of them along with, I'm not sure if we pronounce this right, NASDAQ. And then these are just some of my vintage that I have displayed. You get up here to the top, you have a couple of the test pieces. Some people call them test pieces. Along, I also have a bunch of the Yodas. And some of these over here are my favorite ones that I have. Just panning around. I'm also a big collector of the Kinders. I have hundreds of the little Kinder toys, just the older ones. Some of those Donald Ducks, there's 8 or 15 pieces just to put one of the little ducks together, or the Flintstones. And again, these are just some of the commons that I have. Coming over here is my convention PEZ. I have tried to keep each convention separate, but sometimes that doesn't quite work out. Go over to this corner. I was lucky enough, one of my neighbors was an antique dealer. He was able to find a machine for me. I got that. A couple other items in there. I just brought all my cars and M2 stuff up. My daughter was helping me organize the last 2 weeks before we all got locked in. Now, no one else showed their army, so I'm going to show my army. I also am a big PEZ collector, so I have a little over 1,000 of the regular PEZ dispensers, and then another about 400 or 500 miscellaneous PEZ items. So I have all these shelves of PEZ. I'll show you a couple racks I have then. I also have some of the skateboards, some other pieces that were made special. I really like the PEZ stand that was made for me. And then I have a couple different racks that I store a lot of my carded items on. And then again, some more PEZ items. And again, some special ones. John, if you're watching, do you remember that picture? We'll talk about it later. And then I just have a couple other items here. I used to display all my pins in all these display cases. My daughter found some of these little banners for me, and I'm now taking them out and putting each one on banners. The display cases still work good for the bodies and clothing, but I like the banners better for the. I also have a bunch of yo-yos. If anyone has a good idea of how to display them, I've been trying to think of years how to display them. I got one or two other little things. If you see this little, looks like a microphone, it whistles. That was kind of something I found I really liked. I also, that's a pin or a little ball. You try to get it in little holes. That's an older set. You don't see that around a lot. I also bought these sugar packets. They're in really good shape. They just came out a year or two ago. I really like them. I have one of the printing items here. I don't know if you can see exactly what's on it. It shows you how to load a PEZ dispenser. It's not in English. I would like to find the original of that. I also have this one item that I found online at an auction. We've asked a lot of people what the DAR means. We kind of think it means Daughters of the American Revolution. Not really sure. I bought it in an auction from Phoenix, and they weren't able to give me any more information. A couple other little just items that you don't see a lot. These, I believe these were used in the movie theaters. It's a little, I don't know if you guys can see that. They would slip that down as advertisements on the screens. I have 3 different ones on that. They come up occasionally. Of course, I got, I don't know if you can see that. I got Mr. PEZ there on him. A couple years ago, my mother and I, we go to a lot of the conventions in Connecticut. We had all the t-shirts together. She didn't know what she wanted to do with them. So for her one birthday, I had them all put together in a quilt. So you can see we started in 1999 at the first one, and we have only missed one since then. Sorry, Richie, that this year was canceled. That means next year's going to be a lot better. And then just a couple other things. All these little trucks, you see them a lot. I don't know if people know it, but on each one of those, the word PEZ is actually printed on them. You'll see some of the ones on the bottom. You probably can't see it where it says PEZ on it. After they were done selling them to PEZ, they actually had the mold redone, kind of tried to scrape off the word PEZ, but you'll see them now that you can just lightly read the word PEZ in it, and that's after the mold was redone.
Doug, on the other side
Yeah.
of that, is there anything on the other side of that DAR dispenser? Is it both sides say DAR, or what's the other side of the stem look like?
Both sides say DAR.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's a really cool item.
So, and then there's my, when we go into battle, that's the flag we carry for the Army. So that's about it.
Doug, you did have a question. Near your Monopoly game, you had a blue box. Somebody wanted to see what that was, and if it.
Yeah,
what,
that's.
oh yeah.
Mine has a little chip out of it. Whoops. It's a PEZ game. Actually, you put a coin in it. Let me get it out here so you can see it. You actually put a coin in it, and a PEZ pops out of that little red button there under the window. It actually has some, and I'm not sure where the coins are from in it. And when you put them in, that little sleeve will pop out, and a PEZ pops out with it.
That's cool. It's very cool.
So that about wraps up the main items that I
Cool.
have.
It's a very nice collection. Very cool.
Thank you.
If anyone has any questions or wants to see anything else from Doug's collection, just message Doug, and he'll be happy to show you around a little bit more. Doug, we appreciate you. Thank you for doing this for us.
Oh, no problem. Thank you guys for running this. I know you got it together real quick, and you guys did a great job. Oh, hey, Morgan, this is for you.
What?
We are.
Penn
We
State.
are.
Penn State.